we got Matthew Stafford trade, right? Went to the LA Rams for Jared Goff for third rounder, 2 future first rounder picks. What's your thoughts on the trade?
I mean, I don't think. Okay, I don't think Matt Stafford's worth all those picks.
Yeah. Go ahead, get it out. Get it out.
Granted, it's going to be probably 2 late round picks. Well, I just don't think he's worth 2 first round picks. Jared Goff he's an okay quarterback. I never thought really highly of him. I didn't think he was worthy of number 1 overall pick. But, it is what it is. I think if they could redo the draft, they wouldn't take him. So many better players in that draft. But as far as the whole trade goes, like I guess I would give the Rams maybe probably like a B plus. I think he's a step up from Jared Goff, Matt Stafford. Okay. I don't think he's a great quarterback by any means. I
agree with that.
He's a decent quarterback though. He's a solid quarterback. He has a losing record. He has a losing record in the playoffs. He's had some talent there in Detroit, Megatron, Golden Tate when he was pretty much at his prime, Galladay. I know I'm missing somebody that was Marvin Jones. So he's had some receivers there, but
I think that's it.
He hasn't. Yeah, but he really hasn't. I guess had like the overwhelming talent. I guess that Jared Goff has had as far as he had Sammy Watkins there with him. He's had Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks. So he's had, I guess, overall maybe like collectively, and they played when they played together. Pretty much they was in their primes, I guess. But man, I guess I would give the Lions maybe like a C plus maybe. No, actually, I'll give them higher. I'm sorry, I'll probably give them maybe like a B plus.
Okay.
Because they got draft picks in return, first round draft picks. But like I said, they probably won't turn out to be maybe but like late first round picks because I think the Rams are going to be solid, especially with that defense. As long as nobody gets hurt, they should be winning the division pretty much, basically. Or at least contending. They definitely should contend for the division and at least a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. But if Matt Stafford can't get it done with this team, then I lost all hope for him. My brother's a Lions fan. I don't know how he feels about this trade. He probably doesn't like it because I'm pretty sure he's not a big fan of Jared Goff. Like I don't know what they're expecting Jared Goff to do. I don't think. I mean, they got their quarterback, but what do they really expect? I think the Lions going to be bottom 3 or bottom 4 teams in the NFL next year. Like they're not a good team. They don't have any defensive players that stand out. Kenny Galladay gets hurt a lot. At least he was hurt last year a lot. Swift is decent. I think he's going to be solid. Kerryon Johnson's okay, I guess number 2. Adrian Peterson's probably not going to be there. And Marvin Jones he's not good anymore like he used to be. So I think the trade works out for the Rams better, especially for the next couple of years, like the next 2 or 3 years. That's going to really show what Matt Stafford can do. And for the Lions, it's just a rebuild. I kind of feel sorry for Jared Goff, but I don't because he didn't pay all that money. But they're not going to be good, man.
So, Joe, considering the Matthew Stafford, what's your thoughts on the trade, Joe?
I think it's a win-win for both teams. And the Rams, they get their upgrade at quarterback. They've been a playoff team or borderline playoff team for the last 3 or 4 years, and if they get an upgrade at quarterback, that puts them at Super Bowl potential. I mean, they got there with Jared Goff, and if they're going to be better in that position, I think they're better off. And then the Lions, worst case scenario, they get 2 firsts and a third. Is that right? Yeah. And best case scenario, they found their quarterback, their quarterback for the future, and get 2 firsts and a third. That being said, I don't think Jared Goff is the future for the Lions, but a first next year, 2 firsts, essentially 2 firsts next year and 2 firsts in 2 years. I think is worth it to move on from Matthew Stafford. And, if Jared Goff isn't the guy, they'll go into total nosedive, and those will be top picks. So I think it's a win-win. I think it'll put the Lions back on the right course, and I think it might push the Rams over the edge.
All right, Mo. What's your thoughts on the trade, Mo?
So honestly, yo, let me say this, and y'all might say this, but I think because we got to think about this for a second. The Rams were what 3 years removed from the Super Bowl? Was that 2 years ago or 3 years ago? It was less than 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was less than 4. I think it was 2 years ago.
It was 2. So think about it. A team that was less than 2 years removed from the Super Bowl and really didn't get blown out of that game. What was that game? 10-3?
It was 13-3. It's the worst Super Bowl I've seen in my life.
It was awful.
You know what I'm saying? It was a defensive battle, but it was a terrible offensive game. But it was a defensive battle. So you're 2 years removed from that type of game. And for this trade to go down, I hate to say something like this, but I truly believe it was some backdoor stuff in the locker room of players saying we can't win with him. Because for you to make this move, and there's no disrespect to Stafford, but for you to get rid of a quarterback like this, a quarterback like Goff who's decent, and you're less than 3 years removed from a Super Bowl, and for you to make this move, I feel like it was some locker room chatter to management, like, hey, look here, yo, I don't think he's the man. We got a chance to win here. Let's operate this trade. Do I think Stafford is better than Goff? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But for this move to be made like this is almost like you putting the blame on Goff. It's almost like you saying Goff was the problem to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like the Rams got a whole bunch of weapons offensively, some dogs offensively, and he missing a whole bunch of throws. Let's just be honest here. It's not like the Rams got dogs on the offensive side of the ball. It's not like I see if there's dogs there and he's just not making the throws or something like that. It's not really dogs there. There's nobody. They got no receiver that you would legitimately call a number one receiver. I mean, would we really call Woods or Cup a number one receiver? Yeah. I mean, they're really number twos, number threes at best. The running back Cam Akers, he came along, towards the end, but from a receiver standpoint, even a tight end standpoint, they don't have anybody who you would call a top 10 receiver or a top 10 tight end. So I feel like for you to make this move, it's kind of like you putting it on Goff as the problem. But I do like Stafford. And and what I would say is this, and I don't know if it was CJ or Joe that said this, but with Stafford's record in the playoffs and now you wanting a fresh start and getting out of there, it's a lot of pressure on you to win now. Now you got a much better team than right now, even before draft or free agency, he has a much better team with the Rams than he's had at any point of his time with the Lions. And we can say that. We can say that right now full-heartedly. From a defensive and offensive standpoint, he has a much better team with the Rams than he had at any point in his career with the Lions. So now you got to win. You got to win a playoff game. Now you got to show us what you are. We now people are banking on you. People say you're worth being on a better team. Now you're on a better team. Let's see what you can do. So that's my thing with it.
Yeah, so this is very interesting. And then you hear all these stories come out about McVay and Goff, and then it's just a lot of speculation. But my thoughts on the trade were it was like 0 to 60 in like 4 seconds, because it went from like we're looking for trade partners for Goff, and then 2 days later, boom, he's gone. I was like, I've never seen nothing like matriculate that fast. Like, it usually when the trade, it just like, the Lions put out, said we'll trade Matthew Stafford. It took some weeks, and we would like to get him traded before this day. But it went from Goff and McVay not getting together to Goff and McVay needing marriage counseling, to the next day we wake up and Jared Goff is at the Lions. I was like, that's crazy. But I think the pressure for Matthew Stafford is real. Matthew Stafford is he's a better quarterback than Jared Goff.